Good, fantastic Friday. I wonder, can I? Oh, I can zoom the YouTube. Ooh, that's cool. I wonder, can I do the same on? Very awesome. All right, and as always here, let me get. This is being very weird. Like my YouTube on my thing isn't even showing that. It's really just been a bizarre kind of day, just saying. All right, I'm getting, there it is. There it is. Share. Getting the YouTube live link to share in the Goddess Tribe. Let's see, am I sharing it? Yeah. I'm live for Forgiveness Friday. That's what we're doing. And it's day 9. Day 9. Oh, that is not the word for 9. Autocorrect. You're going to get fired. It's been on the chopping block for a minute, that autocorrect. I'm like, look, you slacking. You're making me look bad. Supposed to make me look better. No. Day 9 of, let me just do it this way. Day, boom. There we go. Grow. Just gonna have a moment here. So on Telegram, which is where I host my Goddess Tribe, because, you know, I was one of those individuals that when Facebook and Instagram decided to, you know, have their glitchy days over the last 2 to 3 years where people were not able to access their accounts, I was one of those. Both times it happened. So after the first time and not being able to communicate with my audience, my group on Facebook, and not knowing, that's where what we do, right? We see the contrast and we create something different as a result of that contrast. We see what we don't want, so we can be creating what we do. And that's why I do Telegram. So really quick, before we dive into Forgiveness Friday, wow. You can pin things on the Telegram, right? You can pin things up here on the channel, in the group, and this is my channel, Healing Twin Flames. I have a group, obviously, as you hear me mention, Rise and Thrive Tribe on Telegram. And the last pinned message that I have showing up here that was pinned, which was October 1st, is the very video that I talk about in tomorrow evening's Super Sign Sunday that's being published. Was it tomorrow or was it Twin Flame Tuesday? Twin Flame Tuesday, Super Sign Sunday. I have them both recorded because I may be going out of town this weekend. And it's literally about releasing the perception, the 3D perception that you have of your divine masculine. And that is the exact video that I reference in the upcoming empowerment messages through my intuitive readings on YouTube. I'm a little mind blown a little bit, going, wait a minute, is that video? Sure enough, that's that video. So yeah, that's what's coming in Super Sign Sunday and Twin Flame Tuesday coming this next week. All right, now I wanted to, hello goddess, hello. All right, let me hit live also on my Empowerment Experiences Instagram. And now that we got, had that fun little moment of like, what? Wow, so clearly right now, and I'm feeling that. Right now it is about releasing that perception that we have about anything, because that perception is that limiting perspective that you have. It's how you are perceiving your reality. So I'm doing my best to straighten this a little bit. There we go. Hello, Goddess Brandis. of my empowerment experiences. Bestest neighbor ever, ever, ever. Hello, Midnight Sun Goddess. My Berlin goddess, that's what I'm calling you, because you're like the only person I know from Berlin right now, so I love that. All right, that said, in that moment, it was, again, what we're talking about today, which is forgiveness, right? And, I am one of those that I live transparently, and I share, and I own my shit and say, have I been doing enough forgiveness lately? Have I really been doing a whole lot or much? No. And is it overdue? Yes. Because I had created this vision in October. I thought this month on 1/22/22 I would be taking off to India to finally kind of close that timeline. And instead, even after all these, it felt like stair steps. But then with all, yeah. Let's just say, let's look at it this way. When things come up, when we're creating the visions that we're creating and things come up on your way to those dreams, especially in this twin flame realm, what we often think is we end up going to them, thinking about them, when in actuality, what we're feeling underneath, the anger, the blame, the shame, all of that, it's all stuff that came before him. It's all stuff that you're still carrying. And then it gets intermingled in stuff of now. Like, that's why we tend to want to cling to our counterpart. But we have to let those things go, the attachment. And that's very much what forgiveness is about, is releasing the attachment to these stories, releasing the need for someone to make it right, for someone else to apologize for the way things might have gone, to realize instead your role in that experience and own that by letting it go. You see, I like to talk about how we have this little red wagon, right? How many, show of hands, I know, especially here in America, right? How many had a little radio flyer, a little metal, they used to be metal back in the day when things were made quality. And we had these little red wagons growing up. And we'd put all our stuff in those, right? It was so handy to pile everything in this wagon and we could take it everywhere we went, right? I was a country girl. I was a farm kid. So I was all about all that. We would even tie a rope to the wagon, to our bikes, so we could, go out in the country on our little Indiana Jones adventures my brothers and I would do. We were wild children. We were. And when I became a coach, it got to that space of saying, wow, all this inner child healing that we're doing, it's like, holy moly, we've been dragging along this little red wagon of crap of yesterday. In a rickety old wagon that is rusted, and I'm sure a wheel or two has fallen off. And that is what the visual that I see when it comes to practicing forgiveness and detachment, and so many of these facets that we cover in this 17-day challenge. That's why detachment is first. Because we got to let go of what no longer serves in order to create space for what we're asking for. And that's what forgiveness is about. It's about letting go of the blame, of the shame, of the guilt, of all these lower vibrations that keep us tied to yesterday, tied to that wagon that is actually slowing you down. It's holding you back from what you desire in your life. Nobody else is. Even though our ego, mine too, we'll sit there and go, but if that hadn't happened, how many experience that, right? But if I hadn't have done that one thing, then this wouldn't be where it is. I know when it comes to the twin flame journey, when I'm in that pain space, right, and healing those triggers and getting beneath that surface, it's saying that if I had never accepted his firm request, then and my mind will say that nothing was missing in my life. But is that true? Did I feel that way then, that nothing was missing in my life? No, I didn't feel that way then. However, that's what our victim does, is connects today's stories with yesterday's stories and just continues to amplify and perpetuate the stories connected to all the shit in that little red wagon. And so the stories of today become intermingled and corrupted by the stories of yesterday. And we allow the stories of yesterday to keep us from experiencing differently. This is the perception, the perspective. It's like moving something out of your line of sight, something that's blocking part of your perspective here. And when you move that out of the way, you see a broader picture. You see a fuller picture. You experience a fuller experience. Yet when we don't move that which is blocking us or holding us back or weighing us down, when we don't move that out of our line of sight or our experience that we're having here, when we don't move that or remove that, then it continues to distort how we view our experience, how we view ourselves, how we view our counterparts, how we see everything. And that's the power of forgiveness. And that's why, again, in this challenge, there's so many things. That's why it went from a 7-day to a 17-day, because there's so many things. There's so many ways that you can be reclaiming your power, and so many of them are so simple. I won't tell you it's easy, right? That's why, I've not been doing the depth of forgiveness that I have done before, that, you want to talk about. That's how I felt so free to really rise up and create that life of going to India and this vision with him that we had. And then, of course, right, what happened? The whole shit show started, right? And there's a whole lot of things even I admit that I've been working through with regards to these last almost 2 years and what's going on in the world. A lot of reconciliation, a lot of reframing and rewriting and shifting perspectives, moving shit out of the way. And you better believe a whole hell of a lot of forgiveness is needed. Even you're driving down the road and someone cuts you off or doesn't use a blinker. I'm like, blinkers are not accessories. They are not a pair of earrings or a ring you put on your finger. They are necessities, so I don't hit your ass and you don't hit me. Anyway, there was my little rant for a moment. I want to create a little sign to put out my window at people, where on the front you can read it as though they're looking in the mirror, and on this one, if I end up in front of someone who didn't, where they can read it behind me, and all it's going to say is blinker, bitch. Blinker, bitch. Anyway, that was my little rant, right? But that's my point, though, is to just say, you know what? I forgive you, because you don't know where that person is. And we give our power away to whatever that is outside of us, or whoever that is outside of us, that experience or that person, that circumstance. We give our power to them when we get all in a tizzy and worked up. And that's why I'm like, how cool to just have a sign to go, blinker, bitch. I love you, but use your blinker. Okay, I'd love you more. And that's conditional. I just saw that too. Oh my goodness. I love being able to call my own self out, right? So, I want to point out that when it comes to forgiveness, and this is something I've been saying for years, is that forgiveness, it's not for someone else. You can forgive someone else. You can even ask for forgiveness from someone else, but who is the one that has the ultimate power there? That other person cannot reach inside of you unless you give them that power to have power over your energetic state of being, your emotional state of being, your psychological state of being, right? But in the end, forgiveness is for giving you the freedom to move on with your life. So you can let go the death grip that you have on that little red wagon of crap from yesterday. Stop dragging the wagon, because all it's doing is dragging you down. And that is how I see forgiveness, is when you don't practice it, all you're doing is just piling shit into this wagon that, remember, now visualize, we're talking about probably a 30-plus-year-old wagon here, all rusted, weather torn. Like I said, I'm sure it's missing at least 1 or 2 wheels off that puppy. And that is how our past is. It weighs us down. It slows us down. It keeps us from what we desire. And the only one who has the power to change that is ourselves. That's why, again, when I call myself out for all y'all, I'm like, nah. Here I am. I'm going to even show you. Did I do it yet today? No. And you know what? You bet your ass it will be done. And I will show you tomorrow. But that is also why, with this challenge, I'm doing a giveaway to encourage you to be accountable. And that's why I, again, share with you. That's why I have soul family, soul sisters. We're keeping each other accountable. It's a process. It's a journey. But when you can honor that and forgive yourself for all the perceived imperfections that your ego may like to constantly be like, well, you know, you didn't do this and you didn't do that and da-da-da-da-da. That's why the forgiveness and the challenge today isn't focused on forgiving others. It's focused on forgiving yourself. Because this is something that I've learned through years of forgiveness practicing, with especially the Ho'oponopono practice, this ancient Hawaiian practice that we talk about in this. And then I also have a guided meditation it's not mine. It's one that Source brought to me. I'm one of those that I don't reinvent the wheel. You know, I give my energy, my co-creating and creating energy where I'm called. That's why I utilize profoundly impactful meditations that are already there, because I have plenty of things to be stepping into, to be serving all of you. But this guided meditation, yeah, it's the Ho'oponopono practice. And it's awesome. It's and then some kind of practice. It's like a 30-minute, it's the longest meditation in the entire challenge, but it's because forgiveness is so important. You know, and in some ways, perhaps some would say, well, then why isn't forgiveness at the beginning of the challenge? Well, forgiveness can be heavy. Why? Because you have to look. You have to let yourself see the things that you may not want to see. That's what this work is really about. That's why the twin flame journey is so fucking excruciating, because you cannot hide any more from any of your shit. You can't. That was why, that's my whole story, is that I was doing my thing. I was coaching. I was loving my life. I was like, yeah, I got this shit figured out. And then, wham, came the Mack truck at 150 miles an hour, barreling into my life, named Arby. I said, oh, really? You think you're not going to tend to this over here? Here's your twin flame, because yes, you are. And that is exactly what I feel. That's why any goddesses out there who are looking for your twin flame and you haven't met them, be careful what you wish for. I know very many awakened individuals, who are like, when I first told them about the twin flame thing and my twin flame, they were like, oh, no, I don't want a twin. I don't want to meet my, nope. I want a soulmate. I want a soulmate. Thank you. I do not want a twin flame. No, I don't want my twin flame. Nope. They can stay away. Because of understanding enough about, and I remember my story, and I'm sticking to it because it's the truth. I didn't believe in twin flames when I met mine. But that's the thing. I wasn't looking. And that's why he came. Because I was in my power to such an extent. I was loving myself so much so that I was fully in my mission. Or so I thought. That was just phase 1. I'm not sure what phase we're in, but it's definitely past phase 1. Because now here I am doing twin flame empowerment. That's really more self-love empowerment, because that's what a twin flame journey is. So yeah. Doing this forgiveness practice for all these years now, what I have come to find, and with my clients as well, is that they may start to list that they're going to forgive that person for that, because I always encourage that you write down why, so you can make that connection of what you are releasing, right? Of saying, I am forgiving myself for saying this thing to that person, right? But when you're talking about someone else, say, I am forgiving that person for saying that to me. So often I have come to find that as we write down that I'm forgiving that person, when we really get down to it, you got to put yourself on there for the role that you played in that exchange, in that experience, for what you allowed to happen, for what you participated in happening, how you showed up, what you said, what you did, all these things, right? And that's something that, again, I have found to be so much the case. And that is why, as I've said, why the forgiveness freedom, that's what I call it. I call it the forgiveness freedom practice. That's what I call it. That is why the forgiveness freedom practice is so important to do for yourself, and why this challenge is focused on you doing it for yourself. Because this is about loving yourself. And I know with absolute certainty that the most challenging relationship you will ever cultivate is the one with yourself. But I tell you this, once you have that true bond, that reconnected, that inner union, there will be nothing and nobody that could ever separate you from that power again. Because you're going to be able to recognize when someone or something is attempting to, and you're going to say, nuh-uh, I choose. I have the power over me. And if it means that it's my exit from this world to stand in my power on the front lines of this great awakening, then that's what I will do. Because that's what I've come to do. You, me, we have all come to be the fullest expressions of ourselves, to shine our light in this world, to raise our vibration, to raise the vibration of this planet, And when we do not practice forgiveness, when we do not let go of the things that are weighing us down, then we are not really raising our vibration. We're actually spiritually bypassing. I promise there's nothing worth holding on to that's more necessary than to let go of it so that you can allow for what's next to come through. This entire journey is temporary. This life is temporary. And everything we're experiencing is temporary. And we're the ones that are making it the way it is for ourselves in every moment. I know what it is to put things off. I know what it is to be consistent in them as well. And I am going to tell you right now, sisters, right now, and I've said this for years, is that you don't usually know how much something is benefiting you from the way your life used to be to the way it's become. And then what ends up happening when you fall off that consistency, you don't know until you know. And that's where we are, is realizing how important it is for you to, again, be doing all the things for yourself, to create the change, to create the life, to create the experience that you want to be having in every single moment. And it's also okay, right? This is part of that forgiveness and forgiving yourself, that when, not if, goddess, when you fall off, because you will, just like riding a bike. How many times did you fall off the bike when you were learning to ride it? How many times did you fall when you were learning to walk? The same thing with stepping into this empowered version of you. You're gonna fall back. You're gonna fall off. That's when this practice comes in. To forgive yourself and say, you know what? I'm doing the best I can. Given the circumstances of this very dense, very heavy realm, you have to keep reminding yourself that you're doing the best you can in any given moment. And that's the part that I talk about so much. That's the greatest challenge of this self-love journey, this self-love empowerment journey, is that when, not if, when you falter, when you fuck up, when you fail, are you going to stay in that and beat yourself up? Or are you going to say, ooh, I'm going to remind myself that fail means first attempt in learning. I'll say that again. Fail means first attempt in learning. Because that's what you're fucking doing. You are learning on the job here, so to speak. You are awakening to remembering who and what you truly are in real time here. So get the fuck off your back. Forgive yourself. So you can fully enjoy this life. At least the moments that are filled with infinite joy. And then it also makes for, again, like we talked yesterday, the tear days, right? It makes for those tears a little less heavy, a little less dense. A lot more simple to hold space for yourself when you can recognize that you are doing the best you can. So that is why today's challenge day is about forgiving mostly yourself. Because just as with anything else, if you cannot give to yourself, if you are not able to receive from yourself, then you are really not practiced and at your fullest capacity and ability to give to others and receive from them. That is really what this twin flame journey is about. Being the love. And true love can only begin within, from where it expands outward to envelop, encompass, and embrace those around us. Right? To fill your cup so full that it overflows into those around you. So do the forgiveness practice. Do it every week. Do it every day even. Forgive something every single day, just as importantly as you say thank you for the blessings. You forgive the burdens that you are creating for yourself. Let go of that little red wagon, guys. It's time to let go. You're still you. In fact, only when you let go is your light really going to shine through. It's made me a little teary-eyed. With that, I will leave you today. And I thank you so much for sharing in this journey with me, for inviting me into your world, how sacred and privileged that is for me. And of course, for you being a part of mine. What an honor and a privilege to share in this journey together. I'm all choked up. And I remind you, I promise you, that the power, it is in your hands, even when you feel so hopeless, when you feel as though you have made so many mistakes that you'll never get it right. I promise you that's not true. I'm proof of that. That power, it is always in your hands. It is in your hands. Because it has always been inside you. I love you.